What's up everyone, this is Josh here. Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'll be installing the Pypes Longtube headers and the Pypes Shorty Cutted X pipe on my 2006 Mustang GT. This is a cold startup on a cammed 2006 Mustang GT with open Longtube headers. Alright, so here we got the Pypes Longtube headers. I'm gonna put them out here. Now, before I install them, I do kind of want to clean them up because of this, like, kind of rusted out and dirty. But so it'll be like this, nice and shiny. Man, that looks so beautiful. Yup. Now let's get these all cleaned up. Let's do some sandpaper. I'm just gonna start with like 220 grit and just start sanding them down. Alright guys, so this is after 400 grit. I did 220, then I did 400. I'm gonna keep going up to 600 and see how it goes after that, and maybe go 1000. But this is how they're looking, much better. That's how bad they were. But I'm not gonna bore you with all the sanding, so we'll be back when I'm done. Alright guys, so I'm finally done sanding them down. I went 220, 400, 600, 1000, 2000, and 3000, and they're almost like a mirror polish. They're not perfect, of course, but they'll do better than this right here. It was all rusted, and you can't even see the heat color over there, and most of this here also. But I can't wait to see the heat color on here. There you go. It's really nice. Can't wait to install these. But now I'm just gonna finish the second one, and we're gonna start installing. Alright guys, so both of them are finally done. Here they are, they're looking really clean. They're not perfect, of course, still has some like dents and scratches in there, but that's alright. They're not too noticeable under the hood, but just didn't want them really rusty when I would go and install them. But there they are. Now let's start the installation. First thing, pop your hood, of course. And first thing you want to do is remove the battery and the battery mount. Next up, disconnect your O2 sensor on the top right here. Not this one, but on the very top right here. Alright, now we come over to the driver's side of the car, and you're gonna remove this evap canister. And I got mine zip tied in there because it's broken, but if yours is not broken, just pull this tab and pull it out. But before you do that, you're gonna disconnect this tube down there. This one right here. Disconnect it, pull it off, and then pull off your canister. Canister off, just move it off to the side. Next thing we're gonna do is take off this dipstick, and there's just gonna be a 8mm bolt under there. Just unscrew it and pull out the dipstick. Next we're gonna be removing this air intake right here. So first thing, just disconnect the mouth sensor, the vacuum line, and then just the 8mm bolt right here. 10mm right here. Alright, so now we get to the fun part. Take a good look at the stock exhaust manifolds, because you're not going to see them on there no more. But now we're going to be removing all the top 13mm nuts from the exhaust manifold on both sides. There you go. Got all of them out. The last one was kind of a pain, but we got it out. Now let's go do the same thing on the other side. Next, we're going to unscrew this 50mm bolt that's holding in the engine mount bracket to the engine mount. Find a long extension and get that bolt off. 13mm bolt. I'm just gonna loosen it up from the steering shaft. I don't know if you guys can see it. Alright guys, so next you're gonna remove this support brace. It's under the transmission, and just these 4 bolts down here, and then you're gonna remove your stock mid pipe. It's pretty easy, just these bolts down here, and then there's like some clamps up there, and your starter. It's gonna be a little bit harder, but it's just these 3 bolts mount up to the transmission, and then just wires down here. So as you see, I got everything off of here. This is where the braces go. You bolt in right there, and then the mid pipes is bolting to the headers, the manifolds, and right down here. You can barely see, it's getting dark real quick, but and the starter would be right down here. So if you guys are wondering why it's off, because I was doing the clutch swap and I'm doing the headers right after that, just to make things easier. So if you haven't checked out the video where I swapped out my clutch, go check it out. And now let's unscrew that 13mm bolt right off that steering shaft. Alright, so next thing, we're gonna have to jack up the front of the motor. So I got a jack. I'm gonna put some blocks and jack up the front of the motor. So I need to lift it up right over here and not on the front of the oil pan, because it's just such a pain to lift it up here. There's like this tubing in the way, so I just went ahead and lifted it up here. It works just fine. Well, now let's go ahead and start unscrewing the motor mount brackets. Alright, so now that we have the engine raised, we can start unscrewing the motor mount brackets. It's just these 13mm bolts around. Same thing on the other side, but one of these bolts will be a 50mm bolt down the ground wire. So let's start taking off these motor mounts. Are finally off. Now I'm gonna take off these 4 bottom 13mm nuts, and the exhaust manifold should come right off. Alright, so here we can compare the Pypes Longtube headers next to the stock exhaust manifolds. You could see these are really heavy, actually. Like compared to this might actually be lighter than these. These are pretty heavy. And second, with like better airflow than this, it will sound so much better. Also, these are all rusted up, so this is gonna be so much nicer. These were on the car before, but I had to take them off for smog, so I was rocking these for a couple months. Alright, so now we're going to be installing these Longtube headers, and each nut and bolt is going to be torqued down to 18 pound-feet of torque. Alright guys, so I finally got the Longtube header in there. I didn't actually torque it down to 18 pound-feet of torque because it's pretty hard to get a torque wrench down there. I just put a little bit of Loctite and just hand tighten them down to what I think is 18 pound-feet of torque. But it's finally in there. It was kind of a pain to do this, especially by myself. But now I'm gonna go do the other side, and I'll be back when I'm done with that side. So there you go. Both Longtube headers are in. They are looking good in there. There you go. So there you go. They're looking real good in there. Now I'm going to install these motor mount brackets in the car. Alright, so finally got the motor mount brackets in there. Now we can lower the motor. We're gonna put these two spacers provided, because without them you can't really bolt down the bolt. And then the washer, now just bolt it down. Alright guys, so I finally finished fully bolting in all the mounts and motor mounts. Alright, so next we're gonna install the steering shaft and the starter. Alright, next I'll be putting the dipstick back in, the battery tray, the battery, and the air intake. It's pretty simple. Alright, so I got the intake in, got the evap canister in, I got the battery in and everything, so basically everything's almost done. Now all that's left is to put on the mid pipe, and that's basically all. Got the starter in there, the steering shaft in. Alright guys, so I lowered the car down because I didn't want to start it up on jacks, but I'm gonna start it up with open long tube headers, and let's see how it's gonna sound like. It's gonna be gnarly because it has stiff motor mounts. It's gonna be shaking in a second. It's cammed. It's just gonna sound amazing. Let's just go ahead and start it up. This is a cold startup on a cammed 2006 Mustang GT with open long tube headers. Guys, you know, fooling around before my neighbors call the cops. But I just want to say, if I get let's see, 1,000 likes on this video, I will take off the rest of the exhaust and rip it down the street with open long tube headers. So please smash that like button, because this is gonna be crazy, ain't it? So now let's just go ahead and install the mid pipe. here it is. And here's the stock mid pipe. Can't use it with long tubes, but it's an H pipe with some fat catalytic converters on there. This right here is the Pypes X pipe. It does have the cats. I guess the previous owner decided to put on some cats. See some trashy wells on there, but let's go ahead and install it. Alright guys, so finally got the X pipe on. Car's back in the ground now, or I guess I'm gonna give you guys a cold start of how this sounds. So this is Pypes long tube headers with the Pypes Shorty catted X pipe and stock mufflers. So cold start. Good. That sounds real good. But you know what's gonna sound better? I'll try put some pipe bombs or something on it. Remove those stock mufflers, then it's gonna sound even better. But yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm gonna do that soon. Alright, so there it is, warmed up, chopping like a classic muscle car. Sounds good, I like it. I'm gonna give you guys a couple revs here. Alright guys, let's go on a quick drive here and listen to that Pypes exhaust. Gotta take some transmission fluid, return it. So good. Whoa, I already feel a huge difference in performance. It pulls much harder. Just long tubes and an X pipe. Whoa, that sounds so good. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh my god, this is so much funner to drive than before. sounds so good.
Imagine how good it's gonna sound with some different axle backs. There's no drone in the car whatsoever. But the car is mostly stock, except they got cams and Longtube headers and the X-pipe. Everything else is stock. So, but just from Longtube headers, it's a huge difference. A huge difference. Feels so much better, so much funner to drive. It's faster. I'm gonna end this here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more because there's more videos coming out, and see you on the next one.
Hey, this is Dre Garage here. That's the point. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am changing the fudge, I forgot what it's called. The bearing. Why did I forget that? I'm changing the bearing here.
Why do you need to change it? Look how good it works.
Look how bad it is. I took apart the car.
No, you didn't. I did.
See, this thing. Yeah, now working on the exterior. I mean, interior.
That's not the interior. That's under the car.
Exterior.